Hello my dear friends. This video lecture is about your unit number 5. From today's video lecture we started the new unit number 5. The name of your unit number 5 is the etiquette. Okay, so let's start it. First of all, the content of your unit number 5 are, first of all, there are the introduction, then the telephonic etiquettes, etiquettes for the foreign trips, etiquettes for the small talks, and the respecting privacy, then the time management and learning to say no. So in this unit 5 there are the mainly these 7 topics are considered. So in this video lecture I discuss about the first two topics, introduction and the telephone etiquettes. So let's start it. First of all, what is the meaning of etiquettes? Etiquette is a code of behavior that describe the expectation of social behavior of an individual according to the norms of the society. Whenever you working in the organization or whenever you working in the business, at that time your business is a part of your society, so you have to follow the norms and the rules and regulations of the society. Okay, so at that time the etiquettes means the, we can say there are the one type of behavior that designed by the society that you have to follow it, so it's called the etiquette. Okay, one type of, we can say, there are the rule of your behavior. Then after, the next one is the telephone etiquette. Okay, so first of all, what is the meaning of telephone etiquette? Telephone etiquette is the way you use the manner to respect, represent yourself and your business to the customer via the telephone communication. As you know that in the today latest scenario, all orders and all order cancellations done by the emails, done by the, we can say, there are the social medias. So telephone is very important in the latest scenario. Telephone is used very much in this situation. So at that time, whenever you working and whenever your business is running and you have to doing the transaction, at that time telephone transaction is necessary. So whenever you working in the organization, at that time telephone etiquettes are considering. So this includes the way you have to greet a customer, your body language, your tone of voice, and your words choice. So listening skills and how you close a call. So whenever you speak to the phone, at that time when how you start your phone, how, what is your body language, what is your tone of your voice whenever you talk with your customers. Okay, so in this topic you have to study about it. Then next one is the etiquette for the caller when the other persons are pick up. Okay, so whenever you call to your customer and your customer cannot receive the call and the another person receive your call, at that time how you behave and what type of points you have to keep in mind. So first of all, whenever you make a call, start with the greeting like the good morning and good afternoon, etc., and follow by your name. First of all, you have to greet that good morning sir or good morning madam, and then after you have to tell your name and your organization's names. Example, good mornings, this is the Raj Mehta calling from the Tech Soft Limited. Okay, so you have to represent your overall business, your organization. So at that time you have to be greet first of all, and then after you have to tell about your self and your organization name. Then the second one is, if you have called the office number and someone is else pick up the call, then ask politely to put you to the person to you wish to talk to. Okay, so first of all, whenever another person can receive your call, then you have to ask them that can I talk the person in this time. Okay, then after, if you are asked for the reason for your call, then given the detail. If anybody person can receive your call and they ask about your reason of calling, then you have to give the information regarding your calling details. Then after, If the person asks you to hold while you call is transferred, then say thank you to the person before your line is transferred. Sometime another person receive your call, and then he or she tell you that I transfer the call to the customer, which a person you have to speak. So at that time you have to say thank you, and then after the line transferred. Then after, if the concerned person is not available, then give the clear message to be a pass on the person, or ask to convenient time when the concerned person is available, so that you can call back. Okay, so if your person cannot receive the call, your customer, and another person receive the call, then you have to ask that which on the which time the person is available, and on the which time the person is convenient to talk to me. Okay, then after, do not get irritated if you are put on hold for a while, or because a person is not available. Sometimes some person can hold your phone and tell you that hold for 2 minutes, I tell the person, and person then call you, or person talk to you. So then you cannot irritate, you have to maintain your stable mind, and then after maintain a friendly tone, and call by a politely, then say thank you or say have a good day. So it's a one type of manner whenever you talk to your customer at that time. Okay, then after, etiquettes for the caller when the person to whom you want to talk and pick up. First of all, we have to discuss about that your customer cannot take up your call, then another person take up your call. So it's call. Uh, then what are the points you have to consider in your mind? And then in this topic, you have to consider that whenever you call the person, and your concerned person or your customer can receive your call, then what type of points you have to consider in your mind. First of all, start with the greeting, that good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, then follow by your names and your organization name. You have to tell that your name, that I am from this I am my name is this, and I talk from this college, this organization, this business. Then after, before starting the conversation, first of all, you have to tell the purpose of your calling and how much time you will take. First of all, you have to tell that I am talking from this or this institution, or this organization, and then after you have to tell that I am calling for this purpose. So the objective of your calling purpose can easily clear in the mind of your customer. Then you have to tell that I can take only 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Okay, then ask, it is a good time to talk to you, because sometimes the person at the middle of the meeting, or driving, or doing some important tasks, where he or she cannot concentrate on your conversation. Sometimes all people are not free to talk to you. At that time you have to ask them that this is time is perfect from talk to you. Then example is given to you that I will just take a 2 minutes for your to discussion about the last order. So is it a good time for it to talk to you? Okay, you can understand it. Then after, keep the all information handy before the dialing the number. It is a very rude to call the person and keep the person that you have to waiting, because haven't done your homework. Okay, so whenever as a we can say, as a businessman, or as a salesman, or as your organization representative, whenever you call your customer, at that time you have to know the overall information regarding what about you tell to your customer. If you don't know about it, then you cannot wait for your customer. So it's a one type of rude behavior which cannot conduct by you. Okay, then after, before hanging your phone, before cut your call, you have to say thank you with a pleasant voice. Okay, because uh, why we learn about it as an engineer, because customers are the king of the business. Whenever customers, they are the king of business, so you have to serve your customer very politely. If you cannot understand the demand of your customer, if you cannot understand the necessary of the customer, then you cannot survive in the business. Okay, then after, Make sure that there is a no noise around you before you make a call. Sometimes you have to call and your colleagues in your we can say sometime your overall infrastructure or your environment very noisy, so it's create, we can say there are the etiquette, it's create a negligence, it's create the trouble for talking to the customer. Then after, etiquettes for the receiver. Whenever you are uh, take the call or whenever you receive the call from your customer, at that time what type of your we can say what type of points you have to consider. First of all, receive the calls promptly and rather than making the call wait for the long. Whenever your telephone are ringing or your mobile phone are ringing, you have to receive the call promptly, because it's a very bad manner that your customers are waiting for you. Then after, greet with your full name and the organization name. This type of facility also you have to face in some organizations and some telephone conversations, telecompanies, that sometimes you have to some ask some services problem, and you have to get information from the other organization. At that time, other person can receive your call and say that I am this person and I am talking for this organization. Then after, in some organization, people picks up the phone and the greet followed by the directly the organization name. Sometimes their employees cannot uh, tell their name. They can only greet organization and tell that I am from this organization. Okay. Then without saying the own name, so it's depend on the what are the standards and way of communication in your organization, and so according to that you have to talk to your customers. Then after, ask the name of the person and the offer to help. Then example, may I know your name, sir? Then how can I help you? So this type of communication you have to done whenever you receive the call from your customers. Then after, if the person want to if the person want to talk to someone else, then pass the line without making the caller, and wait for the long time if the person is not available, and ask if you cannot take the message to pass on the person. Okay, so whenever you talk to someone else and you have to pass the line to the other person, then you have to given the message, and you cannot take the very longer time, you cannot wait the longer time. Okay. Then after, always keep a notepad or pen hardly sorry, here is a handly, so that you can note down the correct information. Sometimes some person gave you the order and then after they can, we can say they can say that I cannot give you the order. So this type of problems cannot face by the organization, because sometimes there are the order are the in the big manner and high manner, and they, if they cannot they can change that I cannot say this type of we can say this type of statement to you. So at that time, in the latest scenario, there are the auto recording is the best option, and you have to note down the information whatever the customer is given to you. So it's easily to you that clear to the customer and easy for your overall, we can say, business. Then after, take down the message fully and correctly. Sometime some person can note down the half information and half information cannot download it, not update the overall information. So you cannot do this type of behavior. You have to note down the all information, and then you have to given the information to your customers. Okay. Then after, pass on the message without the fail to the concerned person. Sometimes customer call you or regarding the whatever difficulty they have to face, then you have to pass the this type of message to the concerned person. Like sometimes as your customer is uh, sometimes customer call regarding the inquiry, sometimes they have to call regarding their problem. So at that time the concerned persons are available in the organizations, so you have to pass this message or pass the line to them without fail. Then after, Some do's and don'ts of the telephonic conversation. Whenever you talk to the your customer, at the time what type of behavior you have to do and what type of behavior you cannot do. First of all, be polite and the tactful of using the appropriate words. Remember that your tone say it all in a telephonic conversation, so your tone is very appropriate. Your words of choosing your word and selection of your word regarding your customer is, we can say, very useful and very tactful. Then always offer the help. You cannot you cannot talk in the authentic way. You have to talk very offerable help. Then after, ask the necessary questions to get a clarity, because sometimes sometimes some people call and then after they cannot call the right person, so you have to ask the necessary question regarding your clarity, that I what type, why should you call to us, and what type of offer uh, you have to choose, or what you have to select. Okay, then after you have to clear regarding your overall work. Then after, also confirm whether the listener and the understood or not. You have to as a listener they can understood your information or not, so you have to clear about it. Then greet and give your organization's name. Okay, whenever you talk, at that time you have to greet and give the organization's name. Then listen the attentive to the caller and give your verbal acknowledgement and mention earlier. Whenever any person plays the order with our organization, at that time you, as a good employee or as a organization presenter, you have to give in the acknowledgement, in the verbal acknowledgement, that this type of order can reach to you on the time, so you cannot worry about it. Then after, let the other person complete before you start the speaking. So okay, so sometimes some person are talking in very hurry. Okay, so you cannot very hurry or very enthusiastic. You have to talk whenever the person can complete their sentence, and then after you have to talk about it. Then after, always keep a note and pen and note down the whatever you have to listen. So it's a very important, because it's create a, we can say, one type of evidence to you that this type of questions are asked by the customers, or this type of orders are placed by the customers. Then after, hold the mouthpiece properly. Sometimes in the telephone, the mouthpiece of the telephone, some peoples are hold very far, and some peoples are hold very close. So if you very hold very close the mouthpiece of the telephone, then it's create a very loud voice to the customer. And if you can take the and hold the mouthpiece for very far, then your customer cannot hear your voice properly. So mouthpiece you have to hold it very properly, so your voice of tone, your pitch of tone, very easily and very listenable to the customer. Then after, do not shout on the telephone. Some people are create a shouting to the customer, so this type of behavior cannot done by you. Then, while talking on the phone, do not get distracted by your surrounding, otherwise you will lose the concentration. Sometimes some people are talking to the customer and they have to concentrate regarding the talking with their with their colleagues, talking to, and sometimes some people are watching some movies and sounds, and it's created some type of distractions, so you can don't do this type of behavior. Then do not parallel conversations. Sometimes some people are talking to the customer and talking to the with their colleagues, with their boss, so this type of parallel conversation can not done by you. Okay, then after, while talking on the phone, do not chew or chewing gum, drink or eat something, because it's create a horrible voice and sometimes not clear voice regarding the your overall information. So you have to talk while whenever you talk to your customers, your overall business parties, at that time you cannot chew their chewing gums and not drink or eat something. Then after, do not use slang words. Then always call back whenever you have to promise to do so. Sometimes some organizations employees are tell to the customer that I will call you later, then they cannot call to them, so it's create a negative impact and negative image of your business. So whenever you have to promise to your customer that I call you back, then you have to call back, okay, and you should call to back. So this is a major complaint and deal with it. So you must note down the everything clearly and along with the follow of action, okay. Then after dealing with the difficult callers, sometimes you have to receive the calls which cannot appropriate for you, and sometimes some callers are they're doing the very misbehavior to you. So at that time, what type of behavior or what type of etiquettes you have to consider in your mind. So first of all, the caller is angry because something wrong happened to that person. Sometimes your order can sometimes your customer's order cannot place at that time. Sometimes some faulty orders you have to send to you customer. So at that time you have to first of all you have to clear regarding the oral information, and then after you have to deal to your customers. Then the caller is shouting on you, but actually he is abusing for the organization. So as he doesn't know the whose mistake is it is, okay. Sometimes wrong order is placed, and sometimes of product exchange type, sometimes some people's given the order to the another product, and the order received from the another product. So this type of things are happen in the organization. So at the time they have to say about the misbehaving to your organization. So at that time the organization cannot in the mistake, but sometimes there are the order committees, or we can say the orders employees regarding the whatever they have to consider. So at that time the mistake you have to find out and not very irritate regarding the this behavior is happened by the customer. Then you are the part of the organization, hence you have to represent the organization. So the first thing you can do, it is to apologize, okay. If you apologize regarding your mistakes, so it's clear, and it's we can say it's a sort out by the customer. You cannot, first of all, you cannot shouting to your customer. You have to try to solve this type of difficulties. Then talk very calmly and can be a good listener. You cannot talk very aggressively. You have to talk very calmly, and as a good listener you have to listen the whatever the difficulties are faced by the customer, and try to sort out it. Then after, if someone is responsible for the situation, then calmly ask the person, would you mind to holding the line while I transfer you to the concerned person, or shall I ask him to call you back? Sometimes the order committee is vary, so at that time different persons are we can say mention their orders, and different persons are responsible for it. So you have to calmly ask that I can transfer your call to the responsible person, or can I call you back, okay. Then after, always address the different person with the name, and listening to the other names or ones will be treated well. So it will be a make caller calmer, okay. So you have to listen the person very calmly, so it's create a good impact to the your organization. So thank you so much. This is video lecture about your introduction and telephone etiquettes. Thank you so much.